and hope Giants will not first pick the Jhin.
Yeah.
And then Roccat can potentially take it, just because Sonstar had such a great performance. But I agree with this one.
Me too.
I think it's super solid. Caitlyn is available for Steeelback. So try and draft, if you're Roccat, a team fighting composition, again with Engage, but also with... Actually, no, you could technically draft the same. You just need to execute better. Like, they didn't lose because of the composition.
Yeah.
They lost because they played really poorly.
You know, I feel like that's a storyline that we've been saying more and more about, like, the teams, I would say middle of the pack, but basically everyone that isn't top 3 right now. It's just like, composition was fine, but in-game, in terms of execution, just something went awry, something went wrong.
Because obviously there's a big difference, Paul,
GG.
between having like a great draft where you're like, oh my god, fantastic draft, and just having like an okay draft. Like, you can win the game with this pick and ban phase. Right? And it's just your execution then in-game is lacking behind. That's something we see more and more from these middle-of-the-pack teams, as you say, here in Europe. Let's see. Azir for Betsy. Good early pick. Does have some clear counters. I would love to see Elise jungle and Varus mid lane for Knight against Azir, because then you have Jhin, Varus, and Elise to add AP damage. That's a fantastic siege comp against a champion who doesn't do well against long-range poke.
Yep.
But, I mean, you can take Karma support with it. That's actually great.
That's fine. I mean, there's still a lot available. If they want, like, a lane counter as well, there's still everything available to counter up Azir, so let's see if they pick that. But, yeah, definitely for sure, Azir does not like long-range poke, his natural predator. And already we have 2 champions. And Braum, who does very well with that. Brings up a shield, and it's just like, what are you going to do? You can't even hit my backline now.
I don't like Karma here, but if they're not planning on building the comp we talked about, then yes, Braum does make sense, but I think Karma would be even better, because Karma plus Nidalee is a decent chunk of magic damage in the mid-game. Then combined with the Varus and the Jhin, I think that can be a very strong comp. You can even still pick the Rumble top lane with that composition, but they are still setting up for poke with the Nidalee, not the Rek'Sai this time around, so they can... You can always look at the jungle pick being like, okay, do they pick physical damage or magic damage in the jungle? And that often tells a bit more about the comp coming in. The traditional one is like AD top laner, AD carry, then AP jungler and AP mid laner.
Yeah.
But then you can mix it up if you want an AD mid laner like Varus, you get AP jungler and AP top laner like a Rumble. Yeah. And then you suddenly have some of these strong mixes.
All that flexibility in from Giants. I mean, we've seen those picks before from them, so we know they can play it, but we already know what they're shooting for this game. Next 2 pickups from Roccat will be Bard going into the bot lane for Raze and Lucian. So that's a pretty aggressive bottom lane here. We've been speaking about like Roccat trying to shore up their early game, and now they're just going to try and go ham in that lane.
But I think that's good. I think a strong bot lane, I think, again, you have the Gragas for Engage, you have the Bard for Engage. We talked about how Roccat needs to draft Engage again against the Jhin to try and shut it down, but just execute better. This is a composition that has the tools. If I saw this on like one of the best teams in the world, I would say, okay, this is good. Not the biggest fan of Lucian here and there, but other regions are, like North America plays it a lot. So I think it makes a ton of sense what they're building. Zed Hover, it would fit in with the physical damage mid laner and the Rumble top, so that's exactly what we talked about, just not the Varus poke. What are we doing, Giants? What are we doing?
I don't know. I mean, we can't take anything away from Hovers because they can just go away from it, but it's going to be Rumble and Karma locked in, so triple AP threat, and it's going to be all on Sonstar to deal the AD damage this game.
Okay, so they're stepping away from the physical mid lane, a physical damage mid lane, but it's still very long range poke from Karma, from the Nidalee, from the Jhin. And then you have that Rumble Braum being like, please, engage on us, so we can Braum ult and Rumble ulti, and you can't run anywhere. That's the entire goal, then. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
There
Top lane
go.
special.
Okay, hype. Bring it out. And you can see a small smile on some of the faces of Roccat there, bringing out the special weapon, the secret weapon. Well, it's not really secret anymore, to be honest, but
yeah, it's
going to be Jayce in the top lane pariahing. He's played it once before.
And he lost.
Yeah, it wasn't the most fantastic of performances, but he was known for this pick before coming to EU LCS.
And he played it in the tank meta, where it's like, okay, you pick Jayce. If you don't snowball the Jayce, he's useless compared to like the tank. Now he's picking it into a carry instead in the Rumble. I can definitely see Jayce being able to play aggressive in all-ins in a lane like this. But obviously, Jayce always had that thing where he builds tier, sets him down a little bit. You have a jungler who can gank, but the Gragas needs to make sure he doesn't fall behind the Nidalee, like, at all. I'm very excited to see this top lane 2v2 because it's not something we traditionally see very often. Like these kind of 2v2s where it's a Rumble Nidalee. versus like Gragas Jayce.
I know.
Like that's our top lane 2v2 right now. We
Fun
might
to
just
watch,
see,
at least.
honestly, Giants might just lane swap and be like, actually they should, because they have a weaker 2v2 bot lane.
Yep.
Jayce, once he's behind in lane swaps, loses a lot of value. And we know Rumble, like he needs 2 items to be impactful.
Exactly. I mean, it would make a lot of sense for Giants as well up here, but we're about to get into our second game here, ladies and gentlemen, between Roccat and Giants. Will be still our first series of the day. Don't worry, there's another series coming up after this, but we are onto the Rift now for Game 2. And it probably will be a lane swap, I've got to be honest with you, unless Roccat really wants to try and get into the standard lanes, maybe try and read that for Australia lanes. I would like to see Australia lanes or standard lanes because it will be interesting to see the Rumble Jayce matchup. For science.
Definitely. Both champions, if they lose their towers early and get put into long lanes, can get ganked very easily. Rumble has a lot of turnaround though, where Jayce is super squishy. Like Rumble is actually fairly tanky early on, also goes door and shield first item, so it's a difference in how fast you can take him down. And you can see Giants are invading for wards. This is not because they want to send a message. No, it's because they want to be able to spot a 2v2 lane and avoid it at all cost.
Indeed. And Roccat can't really get a punish down or anything, so they're going to go into the mid lane. And you can see the Keystone Masteries. Are we seeing anything interesting here?
Nope.
What are you doing to fish here? Are you doing your stretches?
Stretching, yeah.
Pre-game stretches?
Getting ready for the game. That's what I like about this caster desk here. There's a lot of room,
That's
a lot of
true,
freedom. The other
Especially
one,
for me.
yeah. I mean, the other one, you just get stuck in a chair and then
Feel like I'm in a box.
can't really move.
What's in the box?
What is in the box? So,
No,
Giants
last time was team fights.
haven't spotted the dual lane from Roccat yet, but naturally you would just go top here because you haven't seen anything. So you don't expect the other teams who have set their dual lane to sit on a tier 2 tower. Like on top side, you can rush from base your AD carry support to the tier 2 tower and just hide under it and be like, haha, you won't spot me on the wards, and we now get 2v2. But it's very risky to do. So I think Giants can just safely go top here and assume it's going to be a lane swap. They do see everything they need. Roccat will get annoyed by the Braum and actually instantly just abandon it because they're both level 1.
Oh. Yeah, they'll just go into the bot sides of the map. Yeah, screw this. Maxlore's going to take his buff, no problem.
But they trade.
Yeah, and it was just a ping coming down from Roccat as well. So, yeah, lane swap as per usual. So we're not going to see the 1v1 matchup, so I'm a little bit sad panda on that one.
Well, we could still see like last game where you take tier 1 tower and then we actually saw
into
teams
lanes,
swap
yeah.
into the lanes and you just play around the fact there's no tower. So if Giants were to do it in this game, it would make sense to then use the Nidalee to try and pressure on top side after Jayce has no top tower if it goes into the 1v1. But normally when you play Nidalee, you actually want very often standard lanes, so you can invade, bully the enemy jungler. In lane swaps, you kind of divide the map. Like you get one half, I get the other half, and then it doesn't matter if you're Nidalee or not. And yes, you are seeing the fancy lane swap cam one more time.
Yeah, presumably every time we see a lane swap for the lane swap camp. Very, very nice to see. So, mid lane here, you can see Knight up against Betsy. Didn't go for the Varus, which was a possibility. Actually picked Karma very late into the rotation as well. Interesting that we're seeing Karma kind of slip through the cracks in terms of picking order, because we used to see that very early on, if not first pick.
Yeah, I think it's just the teams. I don't think it's a change in meta specifically.
Yeah.
Karma is really strong in every region because she's such a good support and a strong mid lane at the same time. She just sped up that 1 minion to run into his own death. That's pretty brutal. Like,
Yeah.
go, go, you're the hero, or you're dead.
Yeah, it's just like not good moral support. Maxlore is going to clear out this camp and maybe land a spear onto Betsy. But, I mean, it's not going to result in a kill. Knight's not going to really get a kill onto Azir in this laning phase, but just going back and forth.
So we do get another swap around. And now at this point, if you are the Rumble, you see the Jayce pushing, so you kind of know, okay, he's staying on bot side. I'm going to see the AD carry soon. Just push it back as well. Nothing too fancy. Maximize the farm you can get. Infernal Drake is the first dragon. So
good stuff.
What Giants can do, yeah, we had the clown the last one. Now we're going to get an earlier dragon. Giants, what they can do, if they're able to actually match Timber, which they're not at this point, they're actually behind. What otherwise they could do was push in for this tier 2 tower, tier 1 tower on bot side, take it down, then rush the Infernal Drake. So we secure that early dragon, but they're pretty far behind the push right now because 2 men are already from Roccat on top side, and they can just TP Parang into the top lane to join the wave and actually take down this tower like they're doing here. and then you try and force Giants to not go for Infernal Drake, but swap lanes around one more time, and then you're on the bottom side now, and you can secure the Infernal Drake.
Tricky.
So it's about rushing this tower down as fast as possible, and that's what Roccat is doing with the TP, why they pushed it so quickly, and SmityJ, while he got some farm, didn't get to push the wave back. It was a very big wave pushing towards him. You see how many minions are here. This is good from Roccat. Early recall from AD carry support, go to bottom side. Therefore, Giants cannot go Infernal Drake now.
All right. So last game's official, you promised me a lot of fights, and they did happen later into the game, after mid-game kind of happened, and you had that weird fight.
So I was kind of telling you the truth.
Kinda.
But I was kind of lying to you.
What are you promising me this game? Are we going to see a lot of fights, or are we going to see long-range poke with like Knight and Parang?
I mean, whenever there is these mid-game comps, armor penetration, AD carry, Rumble, Karma. Like, yes, we should see mid-game fights. We should see action around 15 minutes and forward. Roccat is the team who wants to scale a bit more on their side, but this is really good now, and they're fighting!
This is a 3 versus 3 here. SmityJ is going to go down almost instantly. First blood over to Airwaks. Return kill to Raze, or onto Raze. Knight's going to chase down Airwaks, separated from Steeelback. Going to come in with a flash, and both of them flash at the same time. Airwaks looking for the last barrel, not going to be the damage to finish him off, and Sonstar will find the kill. A 2-for-1 advantage, Giants.
Roccat didn't realize, or didn't think about Knight having TP as well. Steeelback is going to find Maxlore and a Grump. You don't want to see what he's doing to that Grump.
No, walled over the wall. He was trying to steal it away, but Maxlore will take it down.
So
what happened?
Like, this makes sense, kind of, for Roccat. They're like diving in 3v3 because SmityJ is low, but it doesn't make sense when you think about the fact there's double TP on the side of Giant. So Knight is just TPing in very easily, and at this point here, you can't really escape. Knight does have to flash, but Airwaks goes down, and you can see in your minimap, Azir is here now. And also, Parang didn't have teleport. So why on earth are you going for a play against a double TP team when your own teleporter is sitting top lane already, and your mid lane is Azir who can't move as early because obviously he doesn't have TP?
Yeah, he's Azir, right?
Like, that was completely unnecessary. You already won out on the on the lane stop. You were really far ahead in the push. You could have completely denied SmityJ from getting any farm at that tower, like they actually did manage to do, but you could have done it without losing anyone.
Yeah.
Push it into that tier 2 tower, and once you pushed it into tier 2 tower on bottom lane, you could have rushed for Dragon. And it would have been great.
Pretty much.
Kudos.
I mean, that's what they were setting up for, but they just pulled the trigger in the bottom lane, and Knight got the easiest TP of the century. He just saw the fight happening and was like, well, okay. He's going to press D and just go down there.
Yeah.
There we go. So 2-1. Giants have the early game advantage, ever so slightly. Betsy takes some damage in the mid lane and returns him onto Knight. So he's going back and forth here. And now Roccat.
They're still able to do it. This is the exact play we talk about. Push out bot lane, take the Drake. Actually, they're not able to do that because
Maxlore's here.
Maxlore's already here. Hustlin is here. Man, everything has gone wrong for Roccat. That the game plan, it was in front of them. They had this piece of paper, and it was literally just, it was right there. Like, okay, step 1, do this. Step 1, do this. Step 1, don't do the same step 1 twice.
Yeah.
Step 1, you know.
Step 1.
Yeah, rush this top tower. Okay, good. Step 2, go to the bottom lane, push it out. Step 3, take Infernal Drake. Step 4, question mark. Step 5, profit.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Instead, it was step 1, take this top tower. Step 2, go randomly die in the bot lane against TP. Step
question mark.
Question mark. Step 4, profit Giants.
We got wrecked.
I guess.
Yeah, very odd. Parang now, I mean, he's equal with SmityJ in farm, so hopefully he can get to the mid game and be useful. That was the problem. We never really saw the Jayce from Parang do anything last time. As you said, it was tank meta last time in the top lane.
And it was lane swapped on
and
again.
it was lane swapped again. So yeah, Parang didn't have the best game, but there you go. Donation to Knight as well for the blue buff. And
but
I
this
just
to
see
me,
Parang do well. That's what I want to see.
Pulse, I feel like this is when you and I have been playing Dynamic Q together.
Yeah.
And you're tilting, and you go for comfort picks. Because you're like, I need just something similar.
Like
your Alawi pick. And it always goes wrong. You feed and feed and feed. And that's a little bit like what happened with Parang last time he played the Jayce, and it was a comfort pick. This is kind of the same, I feel, where everything has gone wrong for Roccat just overall the last 2 weeks. And it's kind of where you go like, okay, what do you want to play, guys?
Yeah.
Like, what do you feel
what
like
makes you happy?
Yeah, what makes you happy? What can you have an impact on? And he goes like, give me the Jayce.
Yeah.
You know, my old trustworthy pick. Not so trustworthy, to be honest. But let's see what happens mid. Betsy, there's no flash on Knight, remember. He could go for him, and he does.
Here's the play. Knock Knight into the tower, but Raze will not get the lockdown. Steeelback closes in, and the 2 tower shots will help him pick it up. And Raze, he's getting everything in this game. He got the red buff, he got the kill in mid lane.
I like that play, though. No flash from Knight. Good setup from Roccat. 1 kill here makes up for what happened in the bottom lane. Pushing on mid tower as well. No engage on the side of Giants. Like last game, they have the combo you need to run at them. So if you're sieging on them, Giants can't do a whole lot.
Yeah, Roccat is just going to come in here and chunk down the tower. Sonstar's going to load up a couple shells and force Roccat away, carrying out the minions. Misses a lot of those shots, but they were warning shots. They were just, they were zoning Roccat away. And Prank comes into mid lane now as well, looking for some tasty shock blasts.
Ooh, Roccat can probably dive this one if they can get an easy engage from Airwaks. Hustlin is...
Airwaks?
He's just trying to zone them off. He's like, hey, I could go for you right now. Betsy took a lot of damage as well at the same time, so wise enough from Roccat to just step away from this one. But let's see the play again. This is just Knight with no flash. And obviously, a lot of members missing. Great combo from Betsy. Beautiful play. And the stuff you need when you need to win the early game. You know, when your team tends to fall behind. This Infernal Drake is still alive.
It is. 10 minutes in, though. Significantly faster than last game. It was like, what, 22 minutes before we saw the Dragon go down last game. Raze is going to do a drive-by, but Hustlin is going to bring up the shield. So, not going to get the Dragon today. Raze already managed to pick up 2 things in this game. Won't get the third. And Infernal Dragon over to Giants. Let's take a look at what the next one's going to be. It's going to be Overcast. It's going to be Cloud. There you go. So we had sunny skies, but the clouds have come in now, so unlucky. Betsy, he's going to keep on farming. Haven't had much interaction between the 2 mid lanes apart from that 1 kill out from Betsy. Good setup for him.
And Knight is going for a build we see more and more over in Korea, the Athenes, on the Karma, where it's less about your own damage, more about the utility you bring to your team. And if you consider the fact there's a Rumble, there's a Nidalee, and there's a Jhin, there's a lot of extra damage on the side of Giants, but no front line. They have no front line other than Hustlin, who's in a lane top, so he's a level 4 support. Like, that's not a front line.
Yeah.
So Knight is building for utility instead, and being able to help his team way more than actually being just a pure damage threat himself. And I see some mid laners who really like that build, and I see some mid laners who hate it, because they want to be able to deal the maximum DPS themselves. But I can see the logic in this. Betsy going in again.
He was trying for it, and this time Knight will flash away preemptively. Betsy gets locked down. Great equalizer. Rocco will have to walk all the way through that one. Maxlore looking for a spear. Lands onto Airwaks. Knight trying to get the lockdown onto Raze. Will find it. Follows up with the Soul Flare. Another spear. That's long-range damage. No one will go down for Roccat, but they are dropping low.
And we're having quite some ARAM in this game here. Both teams just sending everyone to the mid lane. And it's a classic one where the poke is landing. It hurts in the early game. Further you get into it, though, the tanks reign supreme. Sadly, in this game, there's like Airwaks as the tank, and that's about it. But both teams just firing away on each other on the towers. No one is actually playing side lanes in this game here, right now. But Perang can do it on the Jayce. Like, you can be a strong 1v1. Rumble really wants to team fight. Like, he's not a strong 1v1 champion after we get to the mid to late game. He really doesn't beat many people 1v1. So this is more just like, okay, is there anything on the map we can actually gain, or is there a way maybe we can make things a little bit easier? Well, you can take Rift Health, but it's onto Maxlore, so it really has no impact.
No, it's only if Maxlore happens to be in the opposing jungle against Airwaks and just gets a little bit of extra damage. But here's the setup.
It's TPing away.
Oh, so as Perang, he gets locked down, and then he will get taken out by Sonstar. No Sours today.
Never listen to the casters. When they say, yeah, you know, Jayce actually should go side lane here, he can put up some pressure, and then he goes side lane and
instantly dies.
I don't think actually he knew they were that close.
Set up on tonight though. E-flash out from Airwaks, in with the ultimate, in with Betsy. An easy kill. Betsy's going to wander back into the tower, goes very low himself, but nice kill onto Knight. Top tower will be traded for it though.
Second time where Roccat are aware of the fact that Knight has no flash. So they go straight for him. Body slam flashes, shuffles in from Betsy. Maxlore was defending bot lane. This is a weird defense with a jungler and a support, but it is enough for now. Let's keep in mind Perang is on top side and Betsy as well, so the big boys weren't here from Roccat.
No, they will not. Airwaks has the Razor Sharp popped, and he'll turn into a Penguin and back away with Raze and Steeelback. So he's good for now. 15 minutes into this game, 3-3. Roccat have a slight advantage in terms of gold, but of course that the Dragon is really big from Giants.
And you wanted some action, Pulse. You've been getting it.
I did.
A lot of poke between the teams.
A lot of poke, a lot of skirmishes rather than like full-on fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's technically only Roccat who can start the fight with like body slam from Airwaks or the ulti from Raze. Where Giants again, Giants just want poke, sustain as much as possible. Siege on these turrets. Nice jumping from Maxlore. He's been on fire today. I say that as he's 0-0-1 on Nidalee.
On fire.
It was a lane swap.
But to be fair, he had some really nice setups that last game.
In last game, he had great
game to Sonstar, but really a lot of it was set up by Maxlore. Every sniper needs a good spotter, and he was landing all of those prey seekers throughout the game. So Maxlore's been doing well, and also almost murdering Steeelback in his own jungle was pretty good as well. It just hasn't resulted in kills or anything flashy. All about the KDA man. But he's got that catalyst ready to go. Oh, we're just kind of backing off before we get more skirmishes.
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of just waiting for both teams to group again. As we talked about, yes, Parang can split push on this Jayce, but TPing him with Jayce is awkward. It's like you don't really want to TP flank on Jayce. So he's not like a split pusher who pushes up and then, you know, TPs in or roams in and like flanks on the team,
He
and that's how you
comes in
start a fight.
blow, and
yeah,
that's
exactly.
actually what I can do.
He actually wants to sit with their Azir and like be that siege threat. So both teams are kind of just opting into 5-on-5ing, and all you do in side lanes is you push it out and then you move. Then you move towards the mid lane again because you're ready for another fight. It's gonna be Baron later, it's gonna be Dragon now. But once again, we need just one pick off from one of the teams and it will explode.
It will explode. All right, I'm keeping that promise in mind.
And look at the build from Betsy. Obviously, there's so much magic damage on the side of Giants that he's going for Abyssal First item, which is actually not that great of a DPS item anymore after the changes to it. So it's a great defensive item now. But also attack speed boots on Azir. And the reason he goes attack speed boots is he's first of all expecting a game where he gets to late game, because late game attack speed is better for Azir than flat magic penetration, funny enough.
Yeah.
I believe actually the exact number is around like 80 MR. Then attack speed starts pulling ahead for him. The attack speed boots as more value than the magic penetration ones. But it does mean his early to mid game is not as strong, but it's a small difference.
Interesting.
In a game like this, well, you already see a ton of MR on Knight, so that actually makes attack speed better already for Betsy there. Often we see like Abyssal coming in on a Rumble as well if you need to protect yourself, but against Rocket's composition, you actually want more armor against the Jayce, against the Lucian, but never disrespect the Azir damage, so obviously you need some sort of MR.
Yeah, of course. Later the game goes, I mean, it's going to hit like a truck regardless, pretty much. Maxlore is going to find Raze, and he knows there's a ward somewhere, but he can't actually get into that bush because Raze and Airwaks are zoning him away. And despite it being clouds, it looks like Roccat are going to try and get control of the area. Nope, everyone's going to back off and see if they can get something done against Knight.
But yeah, if you are Roccat, you wait for flash from Airwaks. And you wait for Giants to step into this river, and then you can bot ulti them, or you can body slam flash on them. Here's the bot ulti.
Lands onto Maxlore. Hustlin's going to come in, bring up the Unbreakable, and blocks out the Cosmic Binding.
That's too early on that bot ulti. You're only hitting Maxlore. That's part one of your engage, really. Now it's up to Airwaks to start these fights, and you see Poke landing. Oh, he's going in!
The flash engage from Hustlin of all people. Airwaks is under fire now. He's going to turn around. Actually, not taking a lot of damage at all. Great Cosmic Binding from Raze onto Hustlin and Maxlore. They're dropping low, but Sonstar has joined the fight. Airwaks is trying to get into the backside. That's the ultimate onto 3, and that's 2 fast kills to Roccat.
Oh, the engage from Hustlin. It's so hard on a Braum. You saw Roccat was like, okay, let's just run away from this one, because he only managed to hit a few members. Giants end up losing it. Parang is going for Sonstar.
Parang's going to jump after Sonstar.
It's still
Sonstar's
Aran,
going to
by the
flash
way.
away. It's still Aran. No backing to base. Oh, the dancing grenade jumps onto Airwaks. I thought I was going to jump onto Raze and just kill him. But yeah, interesting things happening in mid lane.
Yeah, Giants really overcommitted for that fight, and then suddenly they found themselves overextended. Sonstar, if he could see the bard recall, he could have killed him, but... So, let's see what happens here. Hustlin sees a perfect opening for him, but he only managed to hit 2 guys, and now there's no follow-up from Giants, because Rumble ulti is down, but everyone is flashed out of it, and they're missing all the damage. Skill shots are missing left and right. That's a spear missing as well. That's a W missing from Sonstar. And then Giants end up overcommitting, and a great turnaround from Roccat, and 2 kills for them.
Yeah, so many people dropped low from Roccat though. They were very close to dying as well, but it was just those missed skill shots, like everything missed from Giants. So they may have been able to return the kills, but not in this one. So slight advantage there for Roccat, but yeah, Giants just, regardless of what happened, were just pushing up a little bit too far without really properly utilizing all their tools there. So taking a look at this build from Parang as well, building up also. Oh, I'm going to hold that for a second. Nice sidestep on the Tempered Fate. Steeelback is still following after, and Airwaks is coming in from behind. So this will be pretty difficult for Knight to get away from. Not going to happen. And Steeelback, easy donated kill to Roccat there.
Oh, it's probably the easiest kill ever. For
ever in the history of League of Legends.
I mean, couldn't have asked for more if you were Steeelback.
Yep.
Like, might find Maxlore, does manage to jump away, and Roccat is the team constantly playing aggressive in this one. I feel like Giants is kind of panicked in the mid lane before. They're like, we need mid lane control so we can start putting pressure on this mid tower and then set up for this dragon so we can have them run at us and like engage into our Braum ulti, into our Rumble ulti. And then you just went all in for the engage and didn't realize that your follow-up is very easy to flash away from.
Yeah, a little bit weird. Now Roccat just taking control of this one. Equalizer into the curtain call combo. And look for this one to Betsy. Another good sidestep will avoid the damage on the last shot. Maybe even killed him, honestly. I've been disrespecting the amount of damage. That was 2 shots into a Thunderlord's proc and the added damage on the 4th shot. So Betsy avoiding that one. Still had heal as well. And Giants will lose a tower on the bottom, I think. I think Steeelback was just pushing that one. Yeah, so
I mean,
you had a lot right now.
You had to kill a Knight, so you had a free lane to push in. Just a silly death, honestly, before, and a free tower on the side of Roccat. And we have another one of these games in the EU LCS where game 1 is fairly one-sided, and all we want to see is that team just take a 2-0 and show, hey, we improved. You know, we got better, we're consistently better than this team we're playing, so we play a second game where, again, we're in control, we close the game, we take the 2-0, and we go like, wow, okay, one of these teams are now slowly but surely getting better than teams around them in the standings. But we have another one of these games where then the second game is like completely reset. No one is in a clear advantage. No one is better than the other team. And Roccat right now, 2,000 gold lead, have Azir scaling into late game, have the Gragas in the late game as well. I don't think this late game is decided on compositions at all. But Roccat has been playing better in this game, and Giants have not been able to execute like they did in game 1. And we have the same issues, where it's like, was it a one-off, or is this team actually better?
That's the question that we need to answer, really. Yeah, Roccat are playing better, but the Giants are playing worse. Smitty, he's itemizing, he's getting up there. I mean, everything is fine in terms of item builds. Want to keep on building up here, but just try and execute this composition from Giants, because they were doing fine in the first game. They were landing like really good poke out from Maxlore, followed up by Sonstar, and everything was perfect. But Roccat are making plays now. They're actually pushing up. They're trying to capitalize on advantages. Betsy is going to be invading here with Airwaks. Hustlin as well. Be a little bit careful. 2 of them were called out. Here comes a TP as well. Body slam onto SmityJ. He'll flash away, but he's going to be knocked into the team. Opening up with the curtain call once again. Hustlin trying to block some shots. Knight coming in from the side. And the final shot goes wide. Bit of damage out there from Knight. Maxwell's coming in from around the side. Looking for the spear. Doesn't quite land onto Betsy. Looking for the takedown. Hustlin's going to follow up. Knight's coming in there as well. Sonstar just trying to get involved in this fight, but Airwaks is going to zone him away. In comes the cutting from Steeelback. Now it's a 2-for-1 trade so far from Roccat.
Again, here for Giants, they're so close, but then it's just missed skill shots left and right, and instead of you getting a 2-for-2 where you take down Betsy, well, he ends up walking away and even killing your jungler on the way out. So this game right here is just mechanical misplays, and Roccat are able to get some decent flanks and actually pick up some kills. But it's going to be one of these games where both teams will end up fighting around Baron, and that's going to decide everything. Despite Giants being behind now, one bad setup from Roccat, and then suddenly
swing the game.
Yeah, you lose that fight around Baron, as we have seen tons of times before, and then suddenly the game is wide open. But it's also been one of these games where, you know, in terms of macro, we haven't really seen much. It's just been one big fight in the mid lane. So, setup from Roccat. I actually like this engage a lot from Airwaks. He gets maximum damage, and then he waits for the flash before he ultis. Good first shot from Sonstar, misses second, and then the crit here. Missing onto Betsy, who didn't actually juke. That would have killed him with the Karma Q coming after. Then the snare stopped Maxlore's Q from hitting, so he doesn't kill Betsy, and therefore he goes down himself. And then Roccat ends up winning the fight.
Yep. The irony in that Sonstar, the one shot that he does land is the one that means that they don't pick the kill onto Betsy. So, a little unfortunate. These fights are so weird because they it's like, okay, we're fighting now, and they stay at like a set distance away from each other and just keep throwing skill shots at each other until someone dies. And that's the team fight. Betsy now on the side lane as Azir. He's pushing up against Knight, but Knight, of course, has TP. Curtain call. Okay. He's going to throw it onto Airwaks. Does a decent amount of damage, takes him down to half. But just trying to stuff up this target so the Giants can siege the mid lane. I mean, they have the rest of the ultimates available, but I mean, I think this minion wave is going to die pretty fast.
And Betsy's in a side lane against the teleport Karma. So unless he can do something against the Karma 1v1, then this is not really worth it for Roccat. Because, again, they can't fight mid due to TP advantage from Giants. Betsy can't follow. So that's why he tried to trade with Knight as well, being like, oh, is there a chance maybe I can push you out? Because this Karma is not strong on her own. Like, with this build as well, you're building for the team. Giants had a chance, and we see this fight here. This is exactly what we want to see.
Ultimate, but Knight is going to get away. Oh, Betsy's going to flash after him. Here comes the TP out from Giants, though. Zhonya's just in time, but he's only got a couple seconds before the soldiers come in. It's not going up. Conquering Sands, slightly out of range. SmityJ's coming in. Airwaks is overextended. Maxlore's going to jump onto him, but this is a 1v1 trade now as Parang comes in, and Giants are just going to get out of here. Cobbling binding onto Maxlore, though, with a great barrel out from Airwaks, and Hustlin a little too late on the trigger with the ultimate, looking to chase down Airwaks, flash out of the way. Parang now under attack. He's going to turn around, try and pick up the kill onto Sonstar, but he still has the flash, and he'll turn around and take down his prey. Here
Knight is coming. Race is very low.
He's going to walk the bard and get the snare down. Here comes Smitty. He's going to die in the back lines, and Steeelback's going to fall up onto Knight.
Skill shot, and Race is alive. What? I don't even know what happened. So, we talked about Betsy having to fight in their top lane, otherwise it wouldn't make sense to put him there against the TP user. So that fight is already kind of over. You can see Nidalee and Mirma has already ran away. And now everybody's just kind of coming in like 2 or 3 next to each other. Good stun onto Maxlore. Great combo here from Roccat. Knight recalls while Smitty takes down Betsy. And then Knight TP's back in. This is a good play from Sonstar and Hustlin together. So then Knight comes in here. This is a no-flash bard. Where's the snare?
There's the snare.
That's what you...
Yeah, that makes me sad. He was lined up. That would have killed him as well.
It would have killed him.
It was mantra'd Q, Soul Flare.
So many lost kills, honestly, or missed kills.
Yeah, missed opportunities. There's 3, 4, maybe even 5 kills this game that Giants should have gotten.
All right, I'm checking the cooldowns.
Easy skill shots, yeah.
Was that the issue for now? I mean, he should have hit it anyway, but
he shot it like perpendicular to like the way Raze was moving. He didn't just shoot it in a straight line because he was walking along the wall. So when you're in that situation as a player, you have 2 ways to duke. You either carry on going along the wall or you go down. But he just shot it like, yeah, perpendicular to him. So he just carried on walking. And Raze was like, all right, I guess I'll leave. I will be happy with this.
Giants did get some kills, balls.
They did, but they could have gotten more. I mean, the game's
they
very
could always gotten more. This game is all about Giants could have gotten more.
Yeah, I think the key point is, though, they've caught up in terms of gold. Roccat were like 3,000 gold ahead, now they're only like 800.
What do we have here? This mid tower's always been under siege. All game long, it's been under siege. We have the same situation where I would have loved to see a team actually put Prior on Dragon just to get their 3rd Dragon spawning.
Yep.
And again, open up that win condition for you, so it's not just a Baron.
You know, I almost think teams put too little prioritization on Cloud, because it's like, okay, the buff itself doesn't give you a lot, but it multiplies the damage you get from Elder Dragon, so just take it and see what the next one is. And if the next present was also bad, then just take it again. You still get more damage on Elder Dragon, but yeah, neither team really cares about that one at all. And now it just becomes around Baron, and this is kind of what you were saying early game, where it's just like, probably going to devolve into this. Raze is getting locked down. Here comes the curtain call. Steeelback is going to body block from not probably the ideal person, but Sonstar doesn't land pretty much anything. It's not had the most spectacular of ultimates this game compared to last.
Hey, we get the Braum split push as well, and a fight.
Betsy, he's locked down. Nice knockback on to Maxlore. But Hustlin once again with the re-engage that they needed. Betsy's going to be slowed down and will surely get taken out by Maxlore. Steeelback's going to receive some harpoons. That's a 1-0.
Well, that's a tower on the bottom lane. Pulse going down. If Giants can't get any more than this,
they need to. Winter's Bite lands. Going to be the follow-up, but there's no curtain call, so Steeelback's going to back away, and he's going to be pretty happy with life. Parag's still split pushing in the bottom lane. He's dueling Knight right now, but he just wants the inhibitor, and mid lane tower's going to be traded for it. I mean, alright, Giants if he try to take that one down for the entire game, but Parag's going to be happy with dying here. He'll die a martyr and take down the inhib.
But Parag is dead now. That opens up Baron. Sonstar is almost out of mana, but still, Parag is dead for 40 seconds, Betsy for 10. Giants should just rush the Baron instantly. Ulti will be ready soon for SmityJ if there is a potential fight. They need to put a ward behind the Baron pit though.
It's going to be slow though.
So they can see everything that happens. They have one ward placed here on the pink, so they can see Airwaks. He has a Banshee. It's hard to stop him. He's going to try and steal it. Will he be the hero?
Raze doesn't have ultimate. 3 people are here now. 2,000 health remaining. Smite's going to come up very shortly. Airwaks over the wall. It's going to be Sonstar to pick up the Baron. Airwaks will be deleted as he jumps in for the steal. Oh, they do get the kill onto Hustlin at the very least as a consolation prize, but Sonstar picks up the Baron.
So in the end, Giants, they do win out on the trade. But there's a lot of risk involved. A lot of risk involved here. Having to take that Baron in a Smite duel. Airwaks jumped over the wall but couldn't get it. Lost in the bot lane still. But you can play around the bot lane now because Baron is gone and your 2 towers you're aiming for, the 2 tier 2 towers in mid and bot lane. So actually that wave doesn't really matter because you're just going to push it out anyway with the super minion, and then you can always take a dragon on the way. Or at least secure the 2 towers and take a dragon, and that's kind of your Baron buff over now. You have a siege composition, long range poke, you want Roccat to engage on you. So things are looking good now for Giants after a very, very poor start to the game with a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Some team fights that didn't go their way. Now push up the bot lane with your Rumble, push mid. Karma does have TP, so she's just setting up the top wave, and that's it. And then she should move down, and that's what you see Knight doing here.
That was also the dumbest way that the Baron could have gone down. Maxlore smites early, 150 health remaining. Sonstar then hits it for his 4th shot for 800 damage, and Airwaks didn't even smite at all, because he was just like, it's not even in range. So yeah, that was very interesting.
Well, sometimes if the crit is guaranteed to be higher than the smite,
you do the Callista thing,
you actually do the smite into the crit instead, and you just say, okay, we can do about 1500 damage. So at 1500, both of them just go like, go, and you just smite and you auto with the jhin, and then you actually guarantee getting the Baron, or most of the time you would. Increase the chance.
Either way, Giants got it, and they'll get bottom tower from it, and now they're sieging in. So what you said mid-game, Deficio, was pretty accurate. This game could literally swing on a lost fight or a Baron going over to the opposite team, and while Roccat were being aggressive, playing better, Giants, they get a good fight around Baron, they take the Baron, and now it's all swung around, pushing down the mid lane. There's a zoning ultimate. Oh, it will just kill Betsy as well, who stepped way too far forwards. Betsy goes down for 50 seconds. 4 people defending this tower. Airwaks is down to half. SmityJ is going to proto-bow after him. He'll have to go back to base, and this will be middle inhibitor dropping. It will be middle inhibitor itself dropping. And Giants, everything is coming up Millhouse.
Yeah, Giants decided getting 2 towers and a Cloud Drake was not enough for their Baron buff. Great engage onto Betsy, who got caught out again by a long-range snare. And suddenly, you got open mid inhib. You still have the Baron buff for a little longer. Another push. Good wave clear now from Roccat, but at least you can get some damage on this tower.
Cosmic Binding onto Hustlin, maybe not the best target in the world. Will land Skull Shot regardless. Top tower is going to go down. Baron buff is just so good right now. And they will not go after the inhib from Giants, so Roccat will at least keep that one up. I mean, Silver Linings, right? But they are 6,000 gold behind. Massive advantage in terms of pressure. I mean, the whole of their jungle is just like spotted with wards right now from Giants.
Let's see it again. So it's... Let's see the tag first onto Betsy. He gets hit by the Rumble into the snare from Sonstar. Great combo, honestly, from Giants. Good setup from them. Just Rumble ulti straight into a snare from jhin. If you get caught by that, you die.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened to Betsy. Tried to step in and wave clear, but it's always so hard to wave play against Rumble comps because he just pushed down the ulti behind the tower.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, either I stay in the Rumble to try and wave clear, or I leave and the tower goes down.
Yeah.
So good use of the Rumble from Giants, and overall, better late game from this team than what we have seen in the past.
That's true. Yeah, kind of reversed roles, honestly. Like, Giants are typically going to be better early into the game. Roccat better with the late game team fighting. And it's now the opposite in this game. Braum, I'll speak about him in a second. I just want to touch back on Betsy as well. He stepped way too close to the tower, though, I feel. Because, like, even if he is wave clearing, then he was clearing, like, the back line of creeps, and he's still going to get killed regardless of really what Giants have. So, yeah, a little bit messed up there. But, yeah, going back onto Braum, I've just, again, not really been super impressed by the Jayce, honestly.
No, I'm not a fan.
Yes, it's been lane swapped on again, but, like, Roccat didn't try super hard to get Australia lanes or standard lanes. And then he just kind of did all right, and now he's fallen behind.
It's just, top lane Jayce is in such an awkward spot. Because you want to use your top laner in a side lane, and Jayce can do that, but there are other champions doing it better. But Jayce is a champion who normally wants to actually move in towards the mid lane and play these long-range poke wars, but you can't because he's your top laner, so he's the guy sitting in the side lane. So you have a comp where no one wants to go side lane properly, you all want to sit mid lane, but then you're sharing farm, Sonstar lining up another ulti, only able to poke this time around, but yeah, I don't feel like top lane Jayce in competitive play really has a spot that makes sense right now.
I mean, also it's a pocket pick, right? So you really want to try and show off your mechanical skill on that champion, but he was never given a laning phase to make that happen. That was one of the problems. Giants are getting pushed down. That's a tempered fate onto SmityJ. Hustlin's going to retreat. Ultimate pop now is coming in from the side, but he's getting annihilated. And Betsy will back up, but he's taken out by the dust plate. Braum's going to go down to an E out from Rumble for a double kill. Airwaks is walking back to his team, but he didn't want to take that route. He's going to have to use his flash for that one. And Giants just take the inhib, but they may even just come in for the win here. Big missteps from Roccat.
And this team fights here, Hustlin honestly has really stepped up on this. Braum had some very good ultis, and now they're pushing straight for his tower's race.
He's going to go back to the fountain. Steeelback, he's dancing back and forth, and Airwaks was coming for a Hail Mary, but honestly, Giants have still so much left in their arsenal. They'll walk up to the pad and just try and pick up some more kills. Hustlin backs away. Smitty may be separated from the pack. He'll go down, but Hustlin on Sonstar are on to the Nexus. Raze and Steeelback are going to try and defend, but with the Unbreakable coming up, not going to happen. Giants 2-0 on the first day here.
Hey, Pulse, we said we wanted to see a 2-0. We want to see a team who dominates